Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode.
Hello.
We are going to talk about you making videos.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
And I'm going to attempt to set you up because that's what you asked.
Yes.
And then you are going to expand.
Perfect.
One of the things that you have spoken about when you began doing the videos was it is uncomfortable for you. It was an uncomfortable thing. You'd never done something like this before. You weren't sure what that would be like.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about it on here before about just being nervous about, this not being exciting enough for people or maybe not having something new to say. And one of the things that's been especially challenging for you through this process is that there have been some people who have not been critical, but have maybe misunderstood the sentiment or the spirit behind this, especially when they've told you and that they think that I'm being controlling and manipulative. What are
a bunch of words.
A bunch of other words.
No, I'm just
They
kidding.
have made some assessments about either my intent, my character, or my behavior on this. And you had wanted to do a video to talk more about you and why you wanted to do this.
Yes.
And then that's your setup now, so you can go, and then I will come and close it at the end.
That's my setup.
That's your setup.
What?
That is your setup.
Okay.
So this isn't going to help them not look like I'm controlling, because now I look like I'm having to just tell you what to say.
Well, how do I expand on that?
Just what we talked about. So who do you identify with?
Oh,
Part of you identifies with.
Yes, I would say, I feel like my personality sometimes is like if Oprah. And David Goggins.
You got some more in you. Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs?
Had a baby. And this sounds really kind of weird, but I really identify with David Goggins. I feel like I totally get him. And then there's also a real.
And if people don't know who David Goggins is, explain to him in 15 seconds. Just so they know.
He's just like a beast. Like, I don't know. Like, he's someone that just doesn't give up and really, he just goes after whatever he wants, in the sense of he's like a runner. He was in Navy SEAL. I mean, look him up.
And you've read both his books.
Yes.
Yep.
I really, really identify with him. And I also identify with the loving nature that, to me, I really like Oprah. And I kind of toe the line of both of them, where I am like a really loving, very compassionate person. But at the same time, I do have that mentality of the me versus me mentality. Like when I do runs and stuff like that, I'm not trying to outcompete anyone. I'm just trying to outcompete myself. Like the race before, whatever, learning new things. So, yeah.
Okay, that's good. And then you want to tell a story that illustrated this for you.
With the Emily's?
Yes.
Okay. So we've talked about this quite a few times. I completed in 2023 almost like a race. It's a event called 29029. I sincerely put in the work. I mean, there was maybe a couple days that I missed if I was traveling or anything, but I showed up for myself 100%. And I was very blessed to be able to afford a endurance coach. Her name is Emily Weiss, and she's incredible. I can't say enough positive things about her, but if anyone, quite a few of you know what 29029 is. I happened to be at Stratton of 2023. It was quite easily the worst event of the 29029 history. It was brutal. It was brutal. It was tough. It was like, it was relentless. And
because it rained.
It rained the entire time.
36-hour event, and it rained for 35 of those hours.
Yes, and the wind, and the chill, and the,
And this is Vermont in the fall, right? So
Vermont in the falls in October.
Okay.
And so I was just trying to get dry. And I so happened to find a few of the people in Stratton that I had kind of like, I didn't go there with, I mean, Jamie was there, but we were all kind of at this table, and Emily was my coach, and she looks at me and she's like, what the hell are you doing off the mountain? And I like look at her like, oh my God. And for reference, I'm 5'3". I think Emily might be 5'2", maybe 5'1", and she's scary. Like, she's scary when she gets fired up. And she looks at my whole table and she points people out and she goes, you, what are you doing right now? And they're like, oh, I'm eating, I'm done for the day. She's like, I don't want to talk to you. What are you doing? And then the next person's like, yeah, I'm done for the day. She's like, God, no. And then she actually looks at me and she says, Amanda, get up right now. And I go, oh my God. And she says, this is not your table, leave. And I just thought to myself, oh shit, like, and no disrespect to anyone at that table, but she was right. And I got my ass off on the mountain, and I did another either 1 or 2 more laps before I called it a day at midnight, and or a morning at midnight.
So these were pitch black laps. Why it's
pitch
raining,
black. You could, it, like, this is as far as I could see.
So
it was.
You left the comfort of being indoors.
Yes.
It was warm, cozy, dry. And you'd already been hiking for how many hours? 12 hours or so at that point. And you went back out there onto the mountain in the misery, in the cold, in the rain, in the dark, and you did 2 more laps.
Yes. And I do, I really remember Emily telling me that if I think I had 5 minutes to get out, and if not, she was actually dragging me out, and I 100% believe she would have pushed me out.
How did you feel doing those laps when you got back out there and you were doing something you hadn't done before? And you were going... I didn't,
100%, I would not have done that last lap if it wasn't for Emily really just like saying what she said. And it really made me attack day 2 like a beast.
Wake your ass up, cause it's time to go beast mode.
Oh my God, I went so hard. I didn't even pee, actually. That was like, I think I had how many ever hours of like not going to the bathroom. And I did what me and my friend Casey calls turn and burn, where we turn, brand the board, and like burn up the mountain. And I wouldn't have done it without Emily. And you know, Emily isn't David Goggins, but she might have well have been that day. Like, she's insane.
How did you feel for yourself, Amanda, going out there and doing something really hard? What did you learn about yourself then? Or what did you
I can do way more than I have ever done. I was, even though I didn't Everest, that was unbelievable, like hands down the most important race I've ever done.
And when you have some people who might misunderstand the intent of these videos, how does that feel?
When I just stop and I go, like, that's not what's happening. But it does kind of bother me, like, as a little bit of a people pleaser. It's like, oh no, like, I have to appease these people. But I mean,
is your larger goal, mission of doing these videos worth enduring maybe some potential misunderstandings or eventually criticism? Because there very likely be criticism if it grows and it reaches more and helps more people, and there will be critics in there. Is it worth enduring that? Is it worth going back on the mountain? Cool. So I'll just share this really quick and we'll wrap it up. When Amanda was in the hospital, we got the initial MRI interpretation. She said 3 things to me, 2 of them which are relevant to right now. She said, I don't want to die, and I don't feel like I've gotten to live the life I wanted to live. I carry that with me every single day. And one of my motivators and driving forces of doing these videos is to help support, honor that with her. And there will be times where you'll see me talk to her, challenge her, discuss things that might seem uncomfortable to be discussed on camera. And in part, I'm doing that because I want to hold her accountable to her David Goggins. I want her to get back up on the mountain. And I know that it is so easy for her to stay in the tent, stay in the cabin where it's warm and cozy, and choose comfort over it. Because I've watched her do that most of her life, which is what led to the declaration of, I don't feel like I've led the life I want to live. In the almost 15 years I have known Amanda, I have never seen her more proud of herself than she was after doing Stratton.
Yeah.
And she didn't finish it, right?
Nope.
I mean, she did not
Nope.
complete the race, if you will. But she was never more proud of herself. And part of that came from knowing that she could do hard things, that she could get up and leave comfort and leave familiarity and leave the place and show up for herself in a way she's never shown up for herself before. All this is about getting you back on the mountain. All this is about making sure that Amanda lives the life that she wants to live. And all this is about her, tapping into her David Goggins, her inner David Gogginsness, by also really honoring and embracing her Oprah-ness. And I think that if any of you could take anything away from this video series today and in future videos, it's really about, maybe using it as a metaphor about how can you show up for yourself? How can you get back up and get back on the mountain, even though it's uncomfortable, even though it's cold, even though it's wet, even though it's hard.
Even though you're not going to finish it.
Even though you're not going to finish it, but knowing that it's not about finishing it, knowing that what you're going to get by going out there and climbing, even when the deck is stacked against you, you are going to gain so much more about it, and you will uncover and unlock a piece of yourself that will become, easily one of your most valuable assets and allies in what life has in store for you ahead.
Yes.
Anything else about that? Good. Well, we'll wrap it up there. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time. As always, thank you so much for being a part of the journey. We love you. We appreciate you. And we hope that you took something valuable away from this video.